Hey everyone, I'm Nick and welcome to the channel. Now if you've watched my Range Rover Sport rebuild, you might recognize this, which is the transfer case that came out of it. Last time we took a look at it, we saw there was a piece of metal sticking out on the input side, and we know that it's been leaking between the transfer case and the transmission. And that's why this is out, and the truck has a brand new one in it. The shop that did the work said they'd never seen a failure like this, and they're Range Rover and Land Rover specialists, so I'm curious to find out what actually happened. So today we're going to take this apart and try to see if we can figure out what happened and if it's rebuildable. So let's get to it. This here is the input side. Can't really see it right now. Oh, can I hear something creaking in there? But as you can see, if we turn the output, that turns in the same direction here, and our other side also turns in the same direction. So we got that. This is the motor. They can change the settings inside. Right here we have our fill port and our drain port. Now I'm actually gonna check. I don't know if this has been drained or not, so I don't make a mess when I open it up. I'm going to try to drain it in here, and that way hopefully we'll make less of a mess if it's not empty. So these two ports or plugs are 8mm Allen head. So I'm gonna bring this over, undo it, and if there's anything, it should drain out. Now, if you're working on one of these, be careful, they're really heavy. Or they're pretty heavy. And obviously, if I do rebuild this, I'm gonna replace these washers and plugs. I think they might have drained it, which is good. But let's see. Okay, cool. That saves some time. Okay, let's get this back in the middle then. And tip it on its back. Here. Or front, I guess. Now I've actually set this platform on my quick jack, so I'm gonna raise it just a little bit to make it a little easier to work on. So I'll be right back once I've done that. All right, so we have our table set up, and we're gonna start by pulling this motor off. Now this is the motor for the transfer case. It's held on 1, 2, 3, 4 E10 bolts. So I'm gonna undo those. Now it does mount to the top of the transfer case, which is probably pretty hard to access in place. So I think if we rebuild this, we'll put a new one on, and that way we won't have to change it. All right, so let's zip these off. This is E10, like this. Okay, so these are 4 bolts of the same size. There's a little seal on here. And it looks like it's a plastic gear, so that if something jams, this strips and it doesn't damage anything in there. This is the part. Yeah, if you drop it, scrap it, so don't drop it. We have just bolts all the way around here. 19 all the way around. So we're gonna undo those. And these are also E10. These are about the same length, it looks like. I'm gonna get an extension on this, make it easier. Should probably take this sensor out too. Actually, I'm just gonna take this sensor out because it's gonna be in the way. These are E6. So, little guy here. Okay, so this reads the position. Just a little slot here. So you can see that lines up with this. So this will tell the car what position the transfer case is in. It's maybe locked or unlocked or something like that. So, yep. Now we can reach this. And I think we are ready to pull this apart. Let's see. There we go, 2x4 there, should help it stabilize. Okay, so there's a slot here and here, which we might be able to use to separate this. And then there's one on the other side right here, so let's see. How are we gonna do this? I just wanna say, I've never done this before. Never split a transfer case apart, so we're learning here. Let's see. This is sealed up with some sort of gasket maker. It's gonna hold the two halves together really tightly. So once we break it apart, I'm wondering if there's something I can put in here and twist, spread it apart. See some of the gasket material here. Oh, okay, I can see the... Is there something thin we can use? Yep. Now, let's not use metal. Let's try to see if there's plastic tools I can use. Oh, okay. That one kind of happens to be the right size, so let's see if we can use that and kind of wedge something else around here. I don't know how heavy this half is going to be. We're going to see. I'll wedge that in there. Work over here, see if... No, that gap is a little different. Nope. It took me a little while to get the two halves separated, but working little by little, I made it happen. This side's still attached. Something like wooden wedges would work well, I think, here. But I don't think I have any. I bet there's a pin in here. Right there. Probably right here that's holding it together. Okay, I think it's split, but probably gonna need a hand. Ooh, raising this off. Okay. There's like a little grip spot here you could use. I think there's a pin over there.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
All right.
What is that?
I don't know yet.
Oh, look at the oil.
Yeah, it's really shiny.
That's bad.
There's worn metal in there, yeah. I don't know what this is. I think that's a magnet.
Seal this.
The output seal that's bad is on this side under all that. This, I think, is metallic goop. So I think this is
That's a magnet.
Yeah.
That's
A lot of goop.
a lot of goop. That's
It's metal.
really bad.
Yeah, that's all metallic stuff. From something grinding somewhere. Does this just sit up here? Oh, I think it's... Okay, there's a slot on the other side where this goes.
Yeah.
Just pop that in here. There we go. That is a lot of metal. Fine metal. Yeah, so the magnet sits in here. And I'm actually going to transfer all this over into the other side, I think. Because that way we can get to the pieces in there. That is a lot of metal. Okay, good. That's the first sign something's wrong.
I mean, the first time something was wrong was...
Well, the first sign that we can see in here so far.
Because I was going to say the first sign was the
It was leaking out the input seal.
horrendous leaking, and then the next one was that metal piece that they couldn't pull out.
Yeah, so we're going to find out. Okay, now right here you can see the chain. This is the adjuster that rides in here. So these rollers, bearings ride on this, which is connected to the motor. So essentially this will spread these out and adjust, I guess, clutch pack in here. So these spreading out or coming together would lock the transfer case. And yeah, so let's start moving this over into here. I think this will come straight out.
The clutches
Yes, it will.
locking 50-50.
Oh yeah. Okay, so we have to lift this up. Okay, this comes up. Flip it over into here. Nope, that's not good. Okay, so that goes in here. This comes up. Right here. This is pretty heavy. And this will slide in down there. Ooh, okay. I'll definitely have to look and see if there's a specific alignment that needs to be here. Okay, here we go. It's not right. Not right.
The clutch pack.
Uh-oh. Okay. Pull this out.
Well, I'll say one thing. It doesn't look like the chain's damaged.
Yeah, that's true. I think this has to sit in here, but
Well, the problem is the clutch packs are not aligned anymore.
yeah, that's what I was trying to do. Oh, okay. There we go. And then this would sit in here normally once that's all aligned. There we go. And that rides in here. There we go. And when that motor turns, these spread apart and probably lock this, because these spreading apart means they would probably compress the clutch pack, which would lock them together.
Progressively change the amount of torque.
Yeah.
Split up to 50-50 where it locks in.
That's fine, I think. I guess let's take this out. You can actually see this little opening locks it in place. So I think that is for, right, because this is the input and then there's an output on the other side here towards the rear. So
I think
this is where we're going to find our
issue. This way. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. There it is.
Whoa, what is that? What is that? I have no idea what that is. There's like a wire. Huh, weird. Okay, so this goes, okay, these are like sandwiched. They're kind of cone shaped and they go facing each other. I guess it's like a spring. Oh crap, okay. Let me get a magnet. Are there supposed to be only this many balls?
I don't think so.
That doesn't look right.
It doesn't.
Oh, it's the bearing, the ball holder. Look, see, this has a metal cage around it
Yep.
that would spread these out, and that disintegrated in the bearing, and this bearing is cooked.
And
Wow.
it sent some balls and the bearing holder into...
Wow.
That went bad.
It's still together.
Now,
This is that was the road noise you were hearing.
Yeah, but here's the most interesting thing.
It all went down.
Somehow, by sheer force of luck, it all went down.
Yeah, towards the outside, towards the transmission.
And didn't destroy anything in here.
Yeah, we saw a lot of metal here, which is probably just the bearing grinding itself to bits. That got picked up here. And obviously this, I'm sure, could use a clean, but that is very lucky. I think
That's incredibly lucky.
That's the top, that's the bottom. So all the shavings coming off there, collected in here. Yeah, that looks like it's it. Yeah. And then there's like a passage here, so all the shavings would come down. No, the magnet's up here. This is the bottom, yeah. And so I guess oil flows in here and down.
Yeah, probably.
Something like that. And this is the pickup.
Out through here, I guess.
And this is the pickup, I guess. So the oil would sit in here. Pickup. There's probably some mechanism in here.
That's a pump.
That pumps it. Wow.
That is incredibly lucky because that is mangled.
Yeah, that is horrifying.
And if that went into... I mean, that could have really...
We saw everything in here looked really clean. And, like, even the chain looks fine. Like, no. And all the gears looked fine. It's just this bearing. Which means it's very rebuildable.
This is, as much as you could say, lucky.
Yeah.
But it could have gone a very different way. Like, all of this could be cooked.
Yeah. Wow.
And one could argue that, I mean, that magnet was doing a lot of work, but that's still got a lot of metal in it. One could argue that you might want to replace this as well.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure you could get a used transfer case. I mean, used transfer cases are like $400. So
now, there is an argument here that given what that bearing did, which is probably unusual, you should replace all the bearings. There's bearings everywhere.
Yeah.
So you need to do seals and bearings instead of just seals.
Yeah, it would be worth doing all of it because of all the metal that went through. It's probably worth doing all four bearings. One on this side, one on that side, one here, and one in there.
Well, there's also one here.
Yeah, that one is from the motor here.
I'd still do it.
Yeah, we'd replace the motor too.
The motor's easy to get to, right?
Oh yeah, it's no, it's off the top. So
oh yeah, then definitely do it.
Yeah.
Definitely do it because it's a bear to get to on the truck.
Mm-hmm. Well, that is good news. I mean, it means we are hopefully
where I was just thinking about this. Where it could get nasty is this case on the other side now damaged? Was all that just grinding around?
Yeah, I don't know. That's true. Well, because where the bearing seats. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. This is the piece that was sticking out. And that's the piece that folded and stuck out through the seal.
That was a piece of the ball bearing holder. Yeah.
Yep.
Wait, did we lose any ball bearings or?
Well, if you look, it might not be exactly the same number, but I don't think we lost any balls.
Yeah, because they were just spaced out. They weren't right next to each other.
Yeah, I think this has all the balls. They're still, because there's grooves. They ride in a groove on either side, so these are actually captive, but the spacers on either side came apart.
I'm also incredibly surprised that the bearing race, like where the balls are riding, it isn't destroyed. Oh no, it might be. Oh yeah, that doesn't look great.
It's pitted in there.
Yeah, it's pitted as hell.
Can you put the light back in there? Yeah, right there.
Yeah, that's why it was very noisy.
I mean, you can hear it. Where's this one? Oh. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a lot of slop in it too.
Yeah.
And there's all kinds of shit on the other side. Okay.
That's nuts. That's crazy. Yeah, it's really shiny in here.
It's funny because it sort of makes sense why, like that, now that you see it, because the transfer case was working. It wasn't throwing any codes. It would go in high and low.
Yeah. It was just leaking because the seal was damaged because its bearing exploded.
That is an impressive failure.
Mm-hmm.
It's also interesting. Oh, I now understand how that happened. I'm like, how did it not go in there?
Oh, yeah, because this sits on there. Yeah, so anything that breaks is held in by these essentially spring washers.
So it pushed it all to the other side.
Yeah. And so fine ground metal was able to come through, but no chunks.
Which saved the rest of the transfer case. Smart.
I think it's rebuildable. So obviously, when we put it back together, we'll have to find out if this stuff needs to be aligned in a specific way. Yeah. Wow. All right, let's see what we could get out of here. It's like a spring wire.
Oh, Jesus.
We've got... Oh, my God. That's crazy. I think that's the rig.
Attached?
Most of it, not all of it. You can see the cups that the balls ride in.
And they've all been crushed. Look at that one. Like you can see that that's a cup where it was in. It was.
This is the seal, part of the seal. The rubber seal that was disintegrated or ripped off too. And that's why it was leaking out of the transfer case. So we would have only heard the noise if the seal was okay, but I mean there was no chance it was going to be okay.
That's shredded.
Actually, I think that's all the metal in there. Nope, there's one more.
Oof.
Picked up a lot of metal shavings. Nope, just metal shavings now. Wow. Still a lot of stuff. So this is what we found. We've got a spring wire, we've got mangled, whatever this piece is called, yeah. Torn seal. Yeah, that's...
And a lot of metal shavings.
Lots and lots of metal goop. You can see in here, that's the seal in there. All torn up. Which would ride on this. Actually, yeah, you can see a little bit right there. I think where it's kind of copper colored, it wore a little bit through the finish. I think that's what that is. Still very smooth, but that might be why that's discolored there. So that is the mystery of what happened to this transfer case solved. I mean, we don't really know how it happened, but we know that it did happen and that this should be rebuildable. So we're gonna look at what kind of rebuild kits are available, what kind of tools we need to change the bearings, and at some point in the future, we'll be putting it all back together with fresh bearings and it'll be ready to go back into a truck that needs it. So if you want to see that, don't forget to subscribe. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like. And if you have a crazy story about a Range Rover or a Land Rover, like this one, let me know down in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.